Welcome to the Keezia motherfucking Lee show. I am absolutely delighted to have an amazing guest on today, Miss Emma Slatter. I always get that wrong. Emma Slatter is the divine, beautiful goddess, shouldn't say goddess, friend of mine. And also she is one lady who is in partnership with me now in my business. And amongst many things, Emma is a Gene Keys guide, a mother of a beautiful daughter, a partner, not wife yet, a partner of an incredible man, and just all around fucking legendary woman. Welcome. Yeah, look at those guns. If you listen to Spotify, go check it out. Mate, just fucking ripped as fuck. So we are so excited because on today's podcast, we are talking into the topic of how we get to be present, devoted, loving mothers, the present being the such key word here, and have a thriving and prosperous business that is changing the world. So yeah, big topic for today. And of course, through this, I just want to preface, because, we just get to do and play how we do. Emma is going to be partnering me with my new mastermind, Mamas Make Movements, a 9-month mastermind that starts on the 17th of October. So of course, I'm going to be seed dropping about this fucking mastermind, because if you're listening to this, you most likely are someone who has been in our field, and who is ready to make a big movement. So anyway, I want to ask you, Em, what does that mean to you? What does it mean to you to be a present mama and have a prosperous business through your lens?
Well, for anyone who wasn't just listening to everything Keezia and I were talking about before we pressed record, I was just thinking through the Gene Keys lens, that we have three folds to our purpose here in this life. So when I think about being present as a mama and fulfilling this movement and having a prosperous business, when I think about prosperity, I think I want to be in the activation of my soul's work, but I also want to do it where I'm feeling so loved and that I have the spaciousness to love my people, and that I also feel alive in my health and vitality. And so when I think about being a present mama and having a prosperous business, I don't feel like I can be a present mama if I'm not fulfilling my own needs as a woman, and as a woman who has a soul's mission. So then I think they go hand in hand, because being a present mama and having a prosperous business to me is that my prosperous business must include spaciousness for me to be a mum who is actively engaged in my daughter's life. So I bring that together, and I think about, I guess I add the trilogy here. I go into, well, how do I also be my most powerful version of me? And she moves between these two aspects, and that's what drives my movement in the world. Because the more I look to wanting to be the best possible, present, engaged, life-giving mother to my daughter, it cannot come separate to my soul's mission and my right as a woman to be in her full fucking radiance.
Oh, so good.
Yeah.
I just feel, I think about the mother, and I think about who she is and the fire she has walked to become who she is. And, the reason this specific mastermind is really for the mothers, because there is something so fucking powerful that lives inside the mother. Like, she has birthed literal creation of life, of her children, and worlds. She's birthing worlds. She's birthing movements. And the fact that we get to live in a time now, and the possibility of a woman and a mother being in her full radiance and her full prosperity, of being in absolute divine alignment with her business that's prospering. There's not a narrative that really I don't see a big narrative of that happening for women. Do you?
No.
Not in this space.
I messaged you, Keezia, remember? I'm like, do you have any women that you really look to that are nailing it? I mean, one woman just popped into my mind, Chantel Duncan, who's got 5 little babes under 8, like that's, and she's crushing it in business and her soul's work and in a loving, beautiful relationship with her partner. But yeah, there's not a big narrative to access of women who are thriving in all areas of their life.
Yeah. Like in all areas, you know, because we can have the real boss babe, you know, and I identify with being a boss babe. Like I'm fucking great at action and alignment, but to have a mother that's also present and spending a lot of time with her children and really nurturing, that can then also step into the role of building an innovative business that's actually changing the world. And, you know, one of the reasons that, you know, I asked and invited Emma to be part of sharing, you know, Gene Keys and her essence of the work is because Gene Keys is a map of consciousness, in a way, a map of, you know, I'm going to use my own terminology. I'm probably going to fuck up the Gene Keys terminology, but how I see it, it's a map of consciousness to actually, because, you know, for women, for mothers, you know, time, even though time is infinite, there's also like, we don't get a whole lot of time, because I personally am not choosing, you know, we were just having the conversation about Emma eventually going to be homeschooling her daughter. You know, I would like to homeschool or life school or whatever that looks like. And, you know, you don't have to have that same belief system if you come into my world. That's not something that I'm absolutely an advocate for, but it's like, how do we do both without just being a full boss babe? Because, you know, you can have a very maybe financially successful business, but not be spending any time with your children. And the Gene Keys map and what it's showing me and what I'm so fucking excited about is the possibility of who we are as mothers to be birthing and creating these new laws of living, where actually it's not about how much time we're spending in our business, it's the frequency of who we are and how we're showing up to business and to life that is actually the thing that is going to invite the most prosperity that we've ever had. And there's no better other woman to shadow and to birth us into reality than mothers. Right.
I'm just thinking. I'm thinking about my gene key. My life's work gene key is 27, and it talks about selfishness to altruism to selflessness. And I was just thinking, they're literally, it's all attached to nurturance and motherhood. It's all, and there is no better human being on the planet than a mother, because they have experienced this realization that something is more important than them. And I don't mean that as in that they are less important. I mean that as in, when you birth this little human into life, you experience selflessness, the city of it. And I'm feeling the, not selflessness as in absence of self, but the fucking paramount importance of being the fullest version of self in order to give something to this child, like you just said, and this movement that is so potent and full of life, that what you're handing them will nourish them. You know, you like, what I realized when I was trying to mother from this empty version of myself is that the drop of liquid I was giving her was so devoid of nutrition because I was so malnourished. And the biggest life-changing thing for me that's happened in my, like, we're talking about how we've walked through fires and being a mother. Last year, I literally burnt my identities around being a present mother to the ground, because I had so many stories about being this fully present mother and having a move had to come from a place of self-sacrifice. And last year, I burnt in this fire of, no one in the world, not even myself, was happy. There was just this, there was no, and I actually took up the mantle of what would it look like to fill myself up? What would it look like to have these exposing conversations to people in my world about my needs? And I found that the more I actually honored my needs and was in the exposing of them, the more I give. Like, my fucking partner frosts me now. Like, I know we're talking about being a present mom and having a prosperous business, but I also know there's this third piece of like, we want our lovers to just adore us. We want thriving relationship with our partner. We don't want to be doing business and then our relationships start failing. Like, we want to be present mamas. We want to be empowered businesswomen in prosperous business, and we want partnerships that are thriving. And when I was like, okay, I'm at the center of this, and I really landed in my Gene Keys chart, and I looked at where am I leaking? What shadows am I leaking through, and what's possible? And I started to read into and feel into my cities and my gifts, and just that life's work piece of selfishness to altruism. Selfishness, my tendency was to be self-sacrificing, and that was leaking the potential of being altruistic. And altruistic is to truly nourish something to life, to give from your heart, that inextinguishable, unending well of your heart. And when I have landed in that, it's fucking revolutionized my life.
Yeah.
And when I think about handing them in their Gene Keys profiles and saying, here, this is where it's leaking, and this is where you can get creative and bringing it back into potency, I'm just like, man, fucking changes your life, changes everything.
Yeah. It's literally been for us and for all the women we've been working with, the best strategy, if we're going to talk strategy, that anyone could ever use in the business. Because as a mother, we need to find solutions that work really efficiently for us. And when the Gene Keys highlight your shadows and where they're playing out in your life, and on the most subtle, it doesn't matter how much work you've done, but it plays out in the most subtle of levels. And when we can bring that shadow into our being and move into our gift a lot easier, the momentum that you will be able to experience from your business is going to radically shift. Because it's not about, for any mother out there who's like, I've taken lots of action, like, fuck that. Because action has nothing to do if you're not actually being in your genius. If your genius is not like at the driving seat of your business, forget it. It is going to constantly, of course, it's hard. We know that. We've got hard moments, but we also continue to see expansion, growth, prosperity in every single area of our life. If I have a successful launch to me isn't making six figures. A successful launch to me is making six figures and being present with my children and having a radiant and healthy fucking body. I'm getting harder every day. I'm a sculpture every day. Just reprogramming my belief systems as we do it. It's all and so for people that have been feeling that, like, I know if you're listening to this, it's because you're a woman who knows she is here for miraculous miracles, movements, money. And she's a mother, or desiring to be a mother, desiring to know the new way, the new paradigm of like, how do we do business online, fucking radical, transformative business, and be mothers, and these polarities in our world have not been something that are really married together. And with the Gene Keys map and all of the studying that I've been doing, plus we have been implementing it into our own life, this is the way. And it is the only, this is the way, but don't say should ever. This is the way. And in my belief system, I'm going to say that because, and whether you might use different maps or modalities, great, but like, it is the only way to create sustainable, long-lasting change in your business, your families, because it literally touches everything.
Yeah, my brain is just like, it touches everything because it includes everything. How many times do you decide to invest in a business program? And yeah, your business might fucking pop off. You might have 6 to 9 months, 12 months of your business just going wild, and you might be making multiple six figures. But then you turn around, it's like, fuck, now I've got to clean up this part of my life. Or you might decide to invest in your relationship because you're like, okay, the business is good. You put all your attention into your relationship, and then your business starts to dwindle because it required so much of your time and energy. And yeah, your relationship is flourishing, but oh shit, like over here is on fire. What I love about Gene Keys is that because it's a hologenetic profile, no matter where you're contemplating, it's that whole thing of like all ships rise. If you are contemplating a shadow in any area of your chart, you are rising into the gift in all areas of your chart. And because the profile is you in relationship and you in service, it all comes together. It all comes with you. You are experiencing this moving into your heart so that your presence with your baby is the key to your prosperity in your business. There is no separation from it. Your business in Gene Keys, your service, your prosperity in business will never ask you to deny your children, because it would be the shadow. It would be saying to deny your own heart. Yeah. So I love that, like when we're thinking about mamas making movements, if your heart is coming with you, if you're coming into this space and you're like, I'm a mama who's ready to do big things in the world, and you're owning that you're a mama, your movement cannot not change the fucking world, because your heart is doing the moving, because you've had to leave no part of you behind. You're not coming into this business program being told, that's great, I get you're a mum, but you've got to be able to separate your mumhood from your business because we're doing business. It's like, fuck that. I don't want it. I'm a fucking mum because I wanted to be a mum and I love the shit out of her. And I also realized that just putting all my focus into mamahood was also depriving me of a presence for her, because I have soul work. Yeah. So that Gene Keys and the way we're walking with it and fully fucking embodying it and can stand in our genius and speak to it is, we know that it brings everything with it. We know that our children get happier, they feel more connected to us. We know that our relationships get better, and we know that we make money so congruently that our businesses are prospering because all of us is coming online at the same time. Yeah. Like we are activating and turning on our own unique hologenetic profile, and we know right where to push. None of this guessing. Like I was 14 when I began my self-awareness, awakening, personal development journey. And I've been contemplating Gene Keys for 8 years, but I was just kind of playing with it. And it was last year when I went, no, I'm going to go all in on this. I'm really going to see what's in this for me. And now I'm like, oh, I wasted so much time, because there's just these pressure points. You can just get so specific that you can really just quantum leap. Just like bam, bam, bam. It's just, it collapses time. It doesn't ask you to put 12 months into something. And it also doesn't say, you've got to show up every day or everything will fall apart, because it knows and believes in the quantum of everything. So you just can shift like that.
Yeah. And as we know, and Gene Keys talks about it, that, Gene Keys, abhors, feels so much disgust about consistency, and, as mothers who are, yearning to create from their aliveness, like consistency is the killer. So not that we absolutely love strategy, we need it, but at the core of it, that the creativity has to be running the field that you're working with. It has to be the thing that's bringing all of your creations to life, and consistency doesn't always work for mothers. We don't like batching content. I mean, I don't think any mother I know batches fucking content. I mean, she might record B-roll, but she's not batching bloody a week of content. Like that would not feel alive for her. And I mean, honestly, the key is everything. A big part of this work is all about energetics. It's looking at the shadows. It's looking at, where those subconscious blocks are, because if they're running the show, that is the biggest block to your business expansion, the biggest thing. And for so many mothers, they want to be able to, bring their mess to their business. They want to be able to go, this is imperfect business model that we are absolutely just breaking down with this work, because I'm like, it doesn't exist. And we actually it gets to be both. We get to be the present mama, and the devoted businesswoman. And I love what you shared about, you know, that choosing this has you more present with your child. You know, because I feel like a lot of mums might be listening to this, might be in that balancing act, which is bullshit. I think balance is bullshit. Only harmony can exist, because it's never a this, that, but it's like a, oh, okay, cool, this, you know. And yeah, I'd love to know from you fully choosing this, like the impact that it's had on your relationship, you know, from you choosing to go all in on your business, and the impact that it's had on, because, you know, I think some mothers are in the place of like, they want to choose it, but they don't know how, or they're in the overarching of like, I'm working a lot and not feeling present with my children. And I feel like people that come into the master are probably going to be on different levels. So like they really want the business to expand, but they're struggling to really get it off the ground, because they can't get the fucking harmony of the children thing right.
Yeah. Look, the first thing that honestly come into it for me is that when I committed to this, the thing that I realized is that I'm the problem. And
So
I mean that
all of you listening, you are the fucking problem. But truly.
Yeah. And what I mean is that I kept living this idea that this is what I want, but this is the reality I'm living in and I can't get there. But it was because I wouldn't fucking get creative. I didn't even believe, I didn't have this self-belief that there's a fucking reason. Like that there is a reason that if you're listening to this and you're like, I want to be a present mom and I want a prosperous business, like that's for a fucking reason, because you're meant to do that. And you're meant to have like this, I'm going to divulge, because while you were talking, it comes back to this. Gene Keys as a whole is 64 archetypal stories of our evolution. And we are sitting in this on the cusp of this great change of where we are moving from victimization into freedom. Victimization into freedom. That is what all of our shadow to gift city experiences are, is we are quantum leaping beyond our stories of our limitations. When I fully let myself saturate in this Gene Keys wisdom, when I let it be alive inside my cells, I realized that this hologram of life that I was living in was just my current state of consciousness of where I believed I was stuck. And when I come back to that piece about selfishness to altruism, I was living in self-sacrificing, and I was looking at a world thinking, this is what I deserve, but I was sacrificing myself. No one was asking that of me. You know, and I know with Keezia, with her shadow of chaos to innovation to innocence, like she could just sit in her world, and she probably was before Gene Keys, like this feeling of everything's chaos and there's chaos everywhere I look, but like, where could she innovate with that chaos? Where could I become altruistic with my time and my selfishness? So when I think about mamas and being present and having devoted business and the Gene Keys for them, and that, like, where did it change for me? I decided I was worthy of the gift. And I read into the gifts in the cities, and I read into the shadow and fully fucking saw how I was the leak in my life. That it was not true that I couldn't have a business that worked with my child. It wasn't true that presence with my child meant 24 hours a fucking day. Because I can tell you, and I know if you're a mama listening, you know the truth of this, you can be with your child all day and you can be so checked out that there is no presence. So let's not tell any lies around here that if you go and spend time in a business, that it's making you a non-present mother. You're probably already a non-present mama.
Yep. Amen.
Because you've got a mission on your soul. You've got a desire to be in fucking divine union with your partner. And when you have shadows playing out, when you have wounds coming up, your energy is drawn to them. So you can be sitting right in front of your child, but you will have all of this tension happening in your mind, in your body, and it will be in the way of full body, loving presence with your babies.
Yeah.
And when you clean that up, that's what Gene Keys did to me. It's like I faced my relationship. I faced the ways I was putting defenses around my heart and wasn't able to feel that union with my partner. I mean, we were separated and then we're back together and we are raising our baby as a family and we are in fucking soul union. Like, tears streaming down my face. Wow, there is nothing between us. I have my daughter here present while I'm doing a podcast. We have just spent beautiful presence for an hour between me having a mastermind call with Keezia in our other program, Legendary Woman, and then going and spending presence with her, eating with her, filling up her cup. She's 8, and then I come in here to do a podcast, and she's so full. Like, I was not present. I used to spend all my time with her. My relationship was failing around me to the point of it disillusioning. Our family become separated. I didn't have a business. I was working all this time. And then I had full 24/7 presence with her. I was just a shell of a human being.
Yeah.
There was no presence. I was just there. So like you asked a very specific question. I feel like I've gone around it.
Perfect.
Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah. Amazing. Yeah. I mean, it's, I talk about, and my work is, that the strategy is like 5%, and then everything else, that iceberg analogy is like the 95%. That everything else that's lying underneath, like, we can give you the strategic tools, and if all you're focusing on is a strategy on how to do the thing, but underneath is everything else, and we, I can't remember that quote from Glennon Doyle about being, the martyr. And it's like, honestly, our kids need us to be so wrapped up with delusional self-belief within ourselves. Like, they absolutely need that. You want to be the best fucking mum, you wrap yourself in delusional self-belief of who you are and you fucking embody it. And that's been, I think, the biggest shift for you and I is like, yeah, well, this is who we are and what we're doing. And then to see the ripple effect of how they then step into their, leadership and who they are and how they reflect their behavior to us. It's a whole different game, because that's what they need from us. They truly, and it's not about not spending time with them. Like, that's the biggest fucking lie we've been sold as a societal, and we don't even realize that we're doing it. We can be pretty awake, aware women and then start to get into this, like, I'm just totally lost all of who I am, because I think there's a subconscious societal belief that this is how I should be showing up, that I shouldn't be feeling like, I should be feeling tired because I'm a mother. I shouldn't have the time I need because I'm a fucking mother. Oh my God, the belief systems are just rampant, aren't they?
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I was immersed in that. That was it makes me think of the Mother Hunger book. I don't know if you've heard of it. It talks about the 3 pillars that we actually, if we don't get all 3 pillars, we have this mother hunger. And it's relevant to being a present mom and prospering in their movement, because the 3 pillars that a child actually seeks from their mother is nurturance, protection, and guidance. And within the guidance pillar is that your child can look to you and see what is possible, because we are all inherently born with some soul mission inside of us, some movement that we're here to make. Like, that's the spiritual journey. And so when that little babe looks up at their mom, yeah, they might protect them and nurture them. And we have a really good societal narrative of that's what a mother does. But we miss this guidance piece. And that babe's looking up to mum going, is it safe to go out and do this thing that's going to require my courage? And if they don't see mum doing that, there's this subconscious piece in them that they're lacking something from mother, that there's a hunger inside of them. And I remember reading this book and just feeling the truth of that. It was like, for so long, I experienced a massive trauma through my dad at 14. But my storyline was, my mum was a beautiful mum. That she was a stay-at-home mum. She looked after us until dad died. She was stay-at-home. She nurtured us. She protected us so well. when I read that, I realized that part of my dissatisfaction and the mother hunger and this ache that was in me that I didn't understand was I didn't ever see my mum go after something that fed her soul.
Yeah.
I missed that guidance piece. And landing that in my body, I realized I do owe it to my child to be all three of those pillars.
Yeah. Yeah, that's
and huge. I do
huge.
have a movement. Like,
I think we all do.
yeah.
And I think all mothers do, all women do, you know, all people do, you know, and this is the invitation, because, you know, Emma and I are breaking through every single, this is how it should be, and it's not possible in our own ways. And, you know, getting the call to do this mastermind is like, we're only standing for quantum leap. We're only standing for the most innovation, the most expression, the most, you know, Gene Keys give the map, but who we are is the fucking guides of possibility and the fucking guides of your body and your movement and how you're showing up. And how you're wanting to create income, and you literally play in business like you've never played before. Break every rule that you think of how it should be done. So it actually, you know, the set point for you and how you should be feeling is motherfucking joy. The set point is joy. You know, and Emma and I are the embodiment. I have never felt as much. I literally go to bed cuddling my kids every night with just like every single night, so much joy. I'm just like, how does my life get any better than this? I don't know if you have the same thing, but lately for me, it is like, I just am like, wow, it is so good. And I want women, and I know it is possible for women to be deeply fulfilled in their soul's work, deeply fulfilled in their money prosperity, deeply fulfilled in their relationship, deeply fulfilled in their body and their children. And that is the baseline of what we're selling in this mastermind. That is the fucking baseline. And truly being from your soul, from the mission, from changing humanity, getting your voice, you know, sharing it online like you're fucking the most delusional badass around, because you are. And making some money, honey.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm just thinking when you just said you're falling asleep with this, like, how can my life get any better? Justin, my partner, creates these alarms and he writes beautiful little things. One day I'll screenshot it, send it to you. And he's like, oh, I just updated my alarm. And it said, so in love, so happy, I'm fucking killing it. And that's his alarm that he wakes up to in the morning to go to work.
Oh.
And why this is relevant is I used to think I didn't want to make a movement because what I didn't want to have to become was a man. I didn't actually want to be a leader. That meant that I become more masculine than my partner. Yeah. I want to be in my divine surrendered radiance while I'm running a movement. And that is literally what I fucking am the embodiment of. Because my partner leads us. He is the man. He holds the structure of our life. He is our breadwinner provider. And I know that my business is very close to progressing to the point where I will earn more money than his work. But it's from such a deeply grace-filled present place that there is no hustle in my system. There is no part of me that's had to do like a man. Like when I think of strategy, I'm like, a lot of the strategy that we're given in business is fed by men into this world. And it doesn't work for women because that's not fucking how we work. We want to be in our aliveness, like Keezia said. And now men, when we are in our aliveness, they come alive. Like we are actually the heart of our families. Yeah. And that is like, we know that. Keezia and I fucking know that. A mother is the heart of the family, and the quality of her relationship with herself and the way she feels about her life touches everyone in the family. Yeah. So the highest service to our families is to fucking be a woman who comes alive in all areas of her life. And that, I know if you're listening to this, is that you have this part of you that knows that you have a movement, that you have this need inside you to stand for something, because standing for that thing will also be you standing for your family, which is the greatest presence you can give to your child.
Yeah.
And the overflow of that is fucking wealth. Money comes to cause. Like, that is the universal law. If you are moving for love, love will feed you.
Yeah.
It's just,
yeah. Oh my God, I'm so excited for this fucking masterclass.
I am too.
Genuine, like,
"Grrr."
yeah. So if you are a woman who is feeling the resonance with her heart, her soul, her mind, her pussy, please reach out to me. We would love to hear from you. And if you have loved this conversation, please tag, share, reshare, comment. That really supports this podcast, this movement, and me and Emma as well. So that is just the start of, oh my goodness me. Thank you so much, Emma, for coming and sharing with me today. I love you.
Loved it. Thank you.
Bye.
See ya.